starting back up. It stopped by itself when I was showing the holes at 17:15. Okay, there's that hole. And I did not do those. Okay. I had to straighten up the valance too. And this lights up too, which I usually put on, which I'll turn on. And right this moment, the blue. And okay, so there's that. Now it's funny. Is the spacing here and here and cameras. So what Bob does is at times Bob acts like he does things and thermal imaging cameras can pick some things up and they can pick other things up. And cameras can be put in here, 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 here in the vents, here, 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 which is disgusting. In back of drawers, microphones and all that good stuff. And they can pick up different things and just be activated by either this here or this here. And some slices are not legitimate. Okay, they were not here before and they don't match up or do some things like right here, okay, or here. So I wrote Mr. Williams several days ago about this, had not received a response. So a camera could be pointed anywhere, especially here. It's so small these days. Mine could be like right next to somebody else's and you would never know. Like this is a new mark. They use that for a frame of reference. It could be in here or here. I've got my games and they've got theirs because I'm going to verify my stuff. I'm going to verify everything they say. And they think I'm bluffing. I'm bluffing about some stuff, but all their times better match up with mine. All this is newly painted in the past couple weeks. Okay, the overpaint on the piping was meant to throw me off. Okay? This was silicone down to there, up to one point. I know Mr. Williams said, oh no, it was like that because that's me too. Because when they found the wiring problem, then that he had to take this off to whatever. He didn't. That's a lie. Okay. This was peeled off basically for another reason, for sound, and for another, I'll call it electronic device, and I don't know why. I don't know electronics very well. Okay, this right here has never worked. I'm gonna press it. Nope. It's carbon monoxide and smoke detector. I told him that day. It should be recorded. Um, I added this today, and this today, and this today. I put this lock on. At times I find it open at night. Okay, so someone basically shimmies it or does something. I don't know how the hell they get in. I don't know. I sleep hard enough where they could either take the pins out or here out. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm at a loss, and I really don't care. Nothing to hide. The only way to get around that is to put a magnetic slide in between the door and this, because this is a magnet, and create almost like on Beverly Hills Cop where he does the chewing gum in the window thing. Okay, but what I do at night is I lock the door and then I tie this around. Okay, it's weighted, and I'll tie it around, several times. It will basically give me a little bit of peace of mind so they can enter. So they're gonna break their key before they twist it open and gain entry. This was moved from here to here for that reason, because I don't want someone to put something in the middle, okay, to create a continuation of the magnets. Here it will cause it to make a sound, but you found a way. So I'm not concerned about people that live here, okay, because I know they got my best interest at heart, but they're going off of bad information, of information that was disseminated by Dawn in parts of the LAPD, and threats made by LAPD, and fake police reports. But the LAPD is going off of information from Heston Silbert and people from DPS of Arizona saying that I'm this and that and that and that and this. They threaten Sean and say, we're going to take your status away and cause a marshal service to take your status. He's already moved probably away from here. But he knew some stuff. Obviously it caused him to go to witness protection program. I'm not surprised at the power that Phoenix has. I mean, because money equals power. I wrote a pretty long thing about Fort Crown Victorious and about what caused possibly the deaths of Robert Nielsen, Juan Cruz, Skip Fink. Skip Fink was a good friend of Darian's father, Conrad Chavez. He changed after Skip was killed in February of 2000. I was at Module that day that Darian called me. It was in the morning. And I didn't realize how close they were until I talked to Conrad after that. And and Conrad treated me uh, uh, better than my own dad. And I could have sworn I saw Conrad. He had longer hair, walking a dog at Polytechnic or by a softball field. And I'm sorry, I didn't say hi to him. I heard he passed away. He smoked a lot, and after Skip died, I remember he walked outside to the porch one day when we were at their house of 88th and Thomas, and I walked out there, and I said, "You doing okay?" I mean, because I saw him in Darien, of course, at the funeral, but we were, I was there with parts of my squad, and Darren was there professionally, and Conrad was there as a friend, and whatever. I couldn't really, it was just whatever. And he smoking a cigarette, staring off over the fence on the edge of the patio. And I put my arm on his shoulder, and I said, "Are you doing okay?" And took a drag, looks at me. He says, I don't remember exactly what he said, but something to the effect as, "We were just talking a week before. He's talking about retiring. He's talking about his grandkids. He was talking about the future." And I saw his heart basically broken, his spirit broken. And that's something that I'd never seen in that man before. And I'll leave it at that. And after I got in his shooting, the only person who cared enough to call me was Darian at the station when I was getting ready to leave. I was just about to leave, and she called me in the locker room. I was in the locker room. I was changing out, and like trying to make sense of everything. And she asked if I was okay. And I said, "Yeah, I'm right. I'm going. Uh, uh, I'll get something to eat." Whatever I said to her. And she said, "I just wanted to make sure that you're okay. If you need anything, let me know." I said, "Okay, thank you." We've been broken up for a while when it happened. And you know that Conrad, her dad, every time he would see Paul Kwan or anyone over at Denny's, he would he would always go over to him or call him over or something and say, "Do you know Bob Dzinski?" And they're like, "Yeah." He say something like, "He was engaged to my daughter, and so please tell him I said hi." And it made me laugh all the time. And one time, I called him, and I left him a message. And I said, "I got your message. I just want to say hi, and thank you. It means a lot, because he left an impression on me." And I asked him for permission to ask Darian to marry me. I met him at a Denny's, and he broke free from Sharon, and I told him not to tell Sharon or Darian because they were together, I think, and her mom, and I said, "Can you break free somehow?" And just you, I need to speak to you. There's nothing bad. I would just like to speak to you. He's like, "Yeah, Bob, that's fine." And I met him in Tempe off the freeway, and it's on the southwest corner. I don't know the exact streets. It was off 202 and like McClintock or Apache Boulevard or something. And I met him. We sat in the corner booth, and I explained some stuff to him about how I felt. And I said, "I would like your permission to ask your daughter to marry me." He says, "I love you like a son." And said that. Give me his blessing, and I was still trying to find a way to do it the right way. We were going to a concert that night, and I wanted to do it on like the billboard type thing, and I didn't want to go up on stage or nothing, but I wanted it on the billboard. The concert we were going to, and I couldn't make it happen, so I did it right beforehand, before we went, and I forgot the tickets. Anyway, I'm an idiot. But I was so nervous, I forgot the tickets. And so what was I talking about? Oh yeah. So it sticks with me how much it affected Conrad, and I got the feeling that it was not only the Ford fire, but it was the way the seatbelt was and the way everything was put in third party. It wedged everything in between. And this poor man, Skip Fink, he burned alive in McClintock and US 60. And his jacket either got caught or something got caught in between the metal, like Sentinel. It's like a box that holds all your controls and radios and stuff like that, and then cup holders and computers and whatever. But the weight of these vehicles is an additional 4 to 6,000 to 7,000 pounds. Okay, and the wiring and the firewall, okay, which is supposed to protect the occupant from fires, are all third party put in, and they cut holes in the firewall. It could be a hole this big or a hole this big for wiring that's this big. And they do it because there's no dedicated or the same continuity or continuously or standardized and systematic way in memory of Wayne Scott to put these things in and make sure that they're done correctly in the same way every time, and they do not waver. So you could every time say, is this car the same as this car? Yes. It was done the same way, has the same cutouts, has the same everything. Okay. But I understand that different places have different A requirements and B responsibilities and C areas of responsibility. And these areas of responsibility require additional radios, additional lights, additional sirens, additional, like some have, the bank robbery type things on the dashboard. That's more wiring electricity. That's why there's another battery. And some have more strobes on the side, or rear strobes, or top strobes, and LEDs, and lower ones. And they got push bars. So that, in turn, it affect airbag performance and when the airbag should be deployed. How much should be deployed? In normal passenger cars, there's called a multi-stage airbag deployment. And this multi-stage airbag deployment is for crashes up to 25 miles per hour. It will partially inflate over a certain mile per hour, and don't quote me on this, on the speeds, but it will completely inflate. Okay, that complete inflation is what broke my neck. Okay, I hit a pole at 55 miles an hour 7 days after Jason Schechterly burned up. I still couldn't tell you the year. I still don't know. I remember bits and pieces, and I remember hitting a red button. I was so sleepy. I was falling asleep. I almost said I fell asleep, which I probably did. I don't know. I remember the bits and pieces until I got morphine, and then I felt better. I mean, because it was my shoulder that hurt. It wasn't really my neck. It was my back that hurt. My spine. I told the ambulance that. I told the doctors that. I begged with them, please do not cut my shirt off because I just bought it and it cost like $74. And they'll cut my pants, but they cut my shirt off. And it was like a wool blend or something, and they took my vest off and whatnot. And that was done in the ambulance. I remember that for a fact. I think. Yeah, because it was a fireman I was pissed at. It was 2 firefighters, a female one, a male one, and another male one, I think. And I think the female one, Tracy Montgomery's friend that we went to a baseball game with, the black one with glasses, I saw her at Costco. It's a petition experience. But we went to a baseball game in like 2000, I don't know what year it was. But anyway, so the point is about Ford is that all this extra weight is not considered when they do the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration, the crash tests. Okay, it's crash tested as a passenger vehicle. Okay, and the Police Interceptor is a vehicle that has heavy duty brakes. It has a dual battery, a heavy duty battery, and some other things, but nothing to my knowledge, especially in the years from 96 through 2004 or 5, nothing to do with the tensile strength of the vehicle or frames or roll bars or anything to reinforce those points to compensate for the additional weight of what's included in the vehicle. It's like being accordion between two passenger cars and you being the one in the middle. Okay, so if you hit a pole, okay, like Robert Nielsen did, he hit something front end, caught fire, okay. All right, now my theory is that the weight of the vehicle causes improper crumple zones and causes the hoses to disengage or break or crack off the engine. Now there's no engine cutoff of fuel. Okay, so fuel keeps getting pumped to the engine, and that's because of the push bars, the airbag, whatever. And I have never seen a side airbag in a marked police vehicle, police accident. I've seen a lot of accidents or collisions. I don't like calling them accidents. But I've never seen a side curtain airbag go off, ever. I've never seen a passenger airbag go off, ever. And I haven't been a cop in almost 20 years. Since December 2002, I was fired for printing the names of my drug recognition expert instructors, as I was told by Bill Niles, my supervisor, and at the time, the coordinator. I don't want my job back. I'm not suing for my job back. I'm just trying to help people realize that lives were taken. I am going to post this video one way or another. Okay? So, there's your warning. If I am dead sometime after March 16th at 17:43 hours, it was not by my own hands. I would look at Ford or Phoenix PD or Heston Sobert or Arizona DPS. Or maybe my Lou Gehrig's disease, I don't know. Or my MS. Yeah. And putting magnets in places is torture. It hurts. Hurts very badly. And you know what you did to me. And people didn't know that I had multiple sclerosis. And yes, did I cause it to myself? Yeah, probably did. Okay, but have you know that I had magnets in my bed in Mesa? MS is a heavy metal disease. It's basically caused by mercury in your system. Certain things have iodine crystals, have mercury, and by having magnets in mattresses, electromagnetic pulses, it's torture. It's pain.